Hello and welcome back to my video. Today I'm going to be doing a nurse Q&A. Hello, if this is the first time you're watching any of my videos, my name is Mayela and I make videos on my life as a nurse and thrifting. And today I'm going to be doing a Q&A, some of your most frequently asked questions to me. I did ask you guys over on Instagram to send me your questions and I did get a few, so I thought I would answer them for you here today. First, if you like nursing and thrifting content, hit that subscribe button. I bring new videos to you every Sunday, so you don't want to miss out. So a background about myself: I am a registered nurse. Currently I work as a public health nurse in field medicine, and I have been licensed for the last 10 years, so I have experience in the bedside clinic and now as a public health nurse. So let's just get started with the questions. Okay, so let's get started with the questions. I do have some of them here on my phone, so you're going to see me looking down. So the first most asked question is, what exactly do you do? So I am a public health nurse. I work in field medicine, like I said. So what that means is, as a public health nurse, I know that not everyone is too familiar with what we do, but I made a whole video on what exactly a public health nurse is and what they do. But in my case, public health nurses take care of whole communities. The community that I care for is farm worker and their adult family members. So I do work in a small town on the coast of California. It is a small, I would say it's a rural town, and it has quite a few farms. So I do go out to the farms and provide medical services to the farm workers. Our target population is those who do not have insurance or are not connected to any kind of clinic or primary care provider, don't have primary care providers. So I do a lot of hands-on stuff like drawing blood, blood pressure checks, a lot of education. I do a lot of case management. But if you want to see exactly what I do or what my average workday looks like, I do post day in the life of a nurse videos. I have quite a lot, so I'll go ahead and pop some here and down in the description, but make sure to finish this video first. So that is mostly what I do in a short 1 minute answer. So let's go on to the next question. The next question that I do get a lot is, how did I get into public health nursing? So I would say that public health nursing found me. I was not looking, or I didn't know I wanted to get into public health nursing. It never really crossed my mind because I never even knew a position like mine existed. So if I didn't know it existed, I wasn't able to imagine it. But when I did see the job listing, so let's just go back to this. So I currently work for my local county's health system. I was working there at a clinic, but it was a non-benefited position, which means I didn't get any benefits, no retirement, no sick time, no holiday accrual, none of that. So after doing that for 2.5 years, I knew that I wanted benefits. I wanted the retirement pension that the county offers. I wanted to accrue sick time, vacation time, all of the things that come with being a fully benefited county employee. So I started looking at the job openings that my county was having, and I stumbled across this public health nursing job posting, and it sounded perfect. It sounded like something that was made just for me, and I always say that when I saw that job listing, I knew it was mine. It sounds corny or whatever you may think, but I just knew it. I had gone on several interviews before that and nothing panned out, but when I went to this interview, like I said, I knew it was just for me. All the requirements I had already completed or was currently doing, and I guess I will tie in the next question to this. A lot of people ask me what were the requirements for my current job position. So the requirements for the position that I have now, the first one was to be Spanish speaking. So if you can imagine, you are working mostly with farm worker community. A lot of them are monolingual Spanish speakers, meaning they don't speak any English or any other languages. Mostly Spanish. Actually, some of them do speak some other dialects. The other experience or thing they were looking at in a nurse was someone who works well independently, and someone who has experience with vulnerable populations, which I already did because I came from a county clinic, and my previous position was the team nurse for mental health primary care. So I was dealing with another vulnerable population, which is people with severe mental illness. So that was one of the experience that they were looking for, and also someone who can work well independently, had strong triage skills and strong hands-on nursing skills. So I had all the above, and before that I worked at a clinic, but before that I do have some bedside nurse experience. So I think everything together made the perfect package for this job that I'm currently working, and I'm still learning every day. But with that I do want to say that don't be discouraged if you don't have your dream job. I have been a nurse for over 10 years now, and I finally have my dream job. I have been there almost 2 years now, but don't get discouraged. Just keep going at it, keep looking for new opportunities, and I promise you none of the experience that you have or are accumulating is wasted. A lot of the things that I learned when I was in the bedside I am using now, and it just builds up on each other. So that is how I got into public health nursing, and you do need to have a public health nurse certificate to be a public health nurse. And in that video of what is a public health nurse, I go all into that and how you can apply for it or what the requirements are for that. So I'll go ahead and link that video in the description. A lot of the questions are public health nurse related because, like I said, a lot of people are not familiar with public health nurses. There's not that many here on YouTube or that I see on Instagram. I follow a lot of nurses on Instagram, and I don't see that many public health nurses. But let me just break it up. And there was a question that somebody asked. They asked for Nclex study tips. So unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for you. I took my Nclex in 2009, so that was quite a while ago, 11 years ago, and I graduated in the end of May, and I took it in September. So what I did personally, for me, everyone learns differently, but what I did is I got a review book. Back in 2009, things were a bit different, but I got the Saunders Nclex review book, and they have sample questions. So I did every sample question in that book. I would say for about a month, I would study most days, maybe 4 or 5 days out of the week, for an hour or two. I would do those review questions, and that's all I did. I finished the whole book, and then it was my day to test. I tested, and I think maybe I probably barely passed, but I still passed, so it doesn't matter. And even if you don't pass, don't get discouraged. You can take it as many times as you need to. And on your license, it's not going to say how many times you failed or how many times you took the test. On your badge, it doesn't say that either, so don't worry about it. Take your time and find other resources if you are having difficulty with it. I know that some people that I know failed the first time, and then they did take some classes. I'm blanking on the name of the school or whatever it is, so I'll go ahead and put it on the screen right now. But they did classes through them, and they do guarantee a pass, or else they'll pay for your next Nclex examination. So just find different resources are available. Currently, I know that I see a lot of people talking about UWorld. I don't know what that is. I think it is maybe an app that you can take questions. But yes, there's a lot of resources out there. Just go ahead and look them up. And sorry, I don't have a better answer for you. I could just tell you exactly what I did, but things have changed dramatically since then. So the other question, another question that I got is, how do you get your how do you get a PHN certification, and what kind of job does that open up for you? So like I said, I discussed it in that video on what public health nurses do, but I'll go into it briefly. In the state of California, to obtain a public health nurse certification, you do have to complete a bachelor's of science in nursing. And with that, usually what you would do, there is an application on the California Board of Registered Nursing website. You fill out the application. You do have to send official transcripts directly to the Board of Registered Nursing, and you do pay a fee. And they look at certain classes that would have to be completed to obtain that certification. So once they approve it, they I got a a certificate in the mail. I'm not sure if they still do the mail-in one, but there is a yearly fee that you have to, not yearly, but whenever you renew your RN license, you also have to renew your PHN certification, and there is a fee to it. I can't recall it off the top of my head, but I think it's maybe like a $90 to $150, somewhere there. I don't remember exactly. So you do have to keep that updated too. There are no extra classes that you, or CEUs that you have to complete for a PHN certification. So what jobs does it open up for you? It opens up so many jobs for you. So I know that when I was applying for this position, for my current position, I had not used my public health nurse certification. I knew that after I got my bachelor's, I wanted to go ahead and have it just in case, but I never thought I would actually end up using it, but I did. So I do encourage you, if you are eligible to get a PHN certification, definitely get it. You never know what that can open up for you. But once again, that video, I do discuss into a lot of detail the kind of positions that you can get as a public health nurse. And for me, it opened up this position, my dream position for me. So go ahead and apply for it if you are eligible, because you never know what can happen. Okay, and I think I've been talking for quite a while, over 12 minutes now, so I'll go ahead and answer the last few questions. One person sent me 3 or 4 different questions, so let me answer them as best as I can. So this is from Gabrielle, and her question, so her first question is, what are your tips for new grads wanting to land a public health nurse in their county? So most public health nurses work for a county's health system. That is my case. So she's asking what some tips are. I would say always keep looking out at your county's job postings. So sign up for email notifications and put in those keywords, public health nursing. I know a lot of the time they do want you to have some registered nurse experience, but it really depends, because as a public health nurse, you can do so many different things. A lot of them are not hands-on. Mine does include a lot of hands-on nursing skills and a lot of case management. I know other public health nurses that work mostly in case management. So just keep an eye out for all the different postings, and I would say even before you graduate, keep looking at them, maybe not just your county, but other counties around your area, because it will give you a better idea of the kinds of public health nurses there are, or the kind of settings that they work in, or the kinds of populations that you can work with. And definitely look at all the requirements that they ask for in those job postings, because then you can start thinking about exactly which kind of population or area you want to work in, and start fulfilling some of those requirements. The second question she has is, what would make a new grad stand out in terms of job, internship, volunteering on their resume? So I haven't been a new grad in quite some time, over 10 years now. But I would say when I graduated, it was a very difficult job market. It was the recession in 2008, 2009. A lot of the hospitals were not having hiring anybody. They were having hiring freezes, especially they were not hiring new grads. So something that I did was volunteer at a volunteer run clinic. I already had my RN license. I just wasn't able to find a job at that time. So they did take me. They allowed me to volunteer there. I did a lot of just basic hands-on skills like injections and blood pressures. So I'm not sure if it's still around, but the clinic that I volunteered at was called Clinic by the Bay, and it was in San Francisco. So look at some volunteer run clinics in your area. I know here in California they have what is called Rotacare, and that is also a volunteer run clinic. So look to get some experience, even if it is volunteer experience. I would say that will help you stand out a little bit more. Also, as far as writing your resume, look at the job posting that you are interested in and use some of those phrases that they have listed under, say, requirements. So look at those keywords, because that is all resumes, from what I know, go through some kind of algorithm and where they look for keywords. So look at those keywords posted in your actual job posting that you are interested in and put them into your resume. Next question is, do you get a say in what sector of public health you start in? And yes, definitely. You can choose whatever you want as long as there is a job available, a job posting. You can go ahead and interview for it, and if you are a good fit or if they like you, they can get you. Like I said, most of them require RN experience, but if you have some good or some experience that can be transferable to whatever sector of public health nursing you are wanting to go in, then they will probably give you a chance. So don't ever get discouraged in thinking that you don't have all the qualifications that they are looking for. Sometimes they will make exceptions if they do see a lot of value in you or the value that you bring with your experience. So you definitely have a say in what sector of public health nursing you start in, because you're the one who are deciding to apply for it and go to the interview. So yes, you have a lot to say in that. And as nurses, as registered nurses, we have so much opportunities. So never limit yourself. If you go somewhere and you find that this is not what you want, you can always go somewhere else. So don't ever forget that. She has a couple more questions, but I think I'm just going to answer one more, and this will be my last question because I've been talking for over 20 minutes now. So her question is, favorite and least favorite part of being a PHN? So I really like this question because there's a lot of good and bad things about it. Let's start with my favorite part of being a public health nurse is the population I get to serve. They are, once again, like I said earlier, I serve the farm worker population on the coast in California, and I would say they are my favorite population that I have ever worked with. They are so humble and grateful, and they are some of the nicest people that I have ever met, the nicest patients that I have ever met. They work really hard, and they don't always have the best cards dealt to them in life. There's a lot of hurdles that they have to overcome, but they still get up every day ready to go work, ready to fight another day. So I would say that's definitely one of the favorite parts of being my role as a PHN is the people that I get to serve. The other one is the flexibility. I'm out and about, out in the fields literally. I don't have to stay in the office all day long. And my least favorite part is, since I work very independently, I do miss working closely with other coworkers. If you work maybe in a clinic or at the bedside, you know that you have your other nurses that you can always rely on, that you know, your work bestie or whatever that is. I mostly work independently, so I would say sometimes I'm lonely. I don't won't say lonely, but I do miss that interaction that I would have with another nurse. Sometimes there are things that, you know, I want to talk through with another nurse, and I'm the only nurse on my team. So that is my least favorite part of being a public health nurse. Okay, so that is all the questions I'm going to answer in today's a nurse Q&A. I definitely see this being a little series, so if you have any other questions you want me to answer in the next Q&A video that I'll be doing maybe in a few weeks, please leave them down below. I love answering these questions for you, and that is why I am here. I want to provide value to you guys. Maybe you guys are nursing students or already nurses, if you want to change your work setting. I would love to give you my opinion or just give you my experience with any questions that you may have. And if you found value in this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It is free. I hope to see you on my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.